And we are live.
They've won Tonys and Oscars and Emmys and Grammys. There's no red carpet cause they're home in their jammies. From Melrose Place to Broadway to Janeway and her crew. Let Seth and James bring all the stars to you.
Anywho,
they're entertaining everyone, so who's gonna grouse? Just sit right back and you'll hear some tales on Stars in the House.
So got it.
hello everybody. Hi, welcome to Stars in the House. I am Seth Rudetsky. Miriam said, isn't it the middle of the night in the UK? Yes. So what it is I'm live right now in New York City. And then I have all these, oh wow, the amounts of flies in this house. I mean, what a wonderful house. Oh my God, I have so many flies in the backyard. Anyway, yeah. So hello, Donald from Blighty. We have all these fabulous interviews that James has been doing because James has been in London town from the smoke, as Francis Purcell calls it. Hello. So I'm going to be showing you all these interviews. Let me first ask you, is my sound okay? Because I have a microphone I can use, but if you can hear me okay, I don't feel like using it. So my name is Seth Rudetsky. My husband James and I started Stars in the House back in March 2020, if you don't know, to raise money for the Entertainment Community Fund, which was called the Actors Fund. And now, we were doing it twice a day, but now we're doing it, we kind of like lessened it, but now we're doing it officially once a week. We have one coming up on Monday, which I don't know if I'm allowed to announce it. I'm just gonna say we have one coming up on Monday. Let me leave it at that. And then we have another one for Pride coming up. My sound is fine, thank you. Okay, so James has been in London, so many things to show you. So first, this is James's intro. Now, James told me not to watch any of these videos in advance, so I haven't seen anything. David Katz, our own fabulous David Katz, put these videos in. James also sent me a specific order that I'm supposed to do them in. Okay, but first I'm going to show you James's intro. Here we go. Enjoy.
Hi, Seth. It's me. Not with you in New York, but here in, well, it's not London. I'm actually in Amsterdam because I'm about to get on a cruise to check out for our future Seth's B-Way cruise. What the heck are we calling it these days? Anyway, I'm here in Amsterdam, like I said, and I'm at a place that you would not like, that we will never go to, and it's because it's a nice hotel, and it faces a canal, a dead-end canal, but it's still a canal. But the bathroom, see that? First off, it's a no-go when it's a sliding door for you, Seth. But also, I don't know if you can see, but see that right there? That's all see-through glass. The view is of the toilet. I have no idea why they make these. Anyway, I'm here because I'm not staying up till 2 a.m. to do this show. But I have a lot of great interviews, really a lot of great interviews that I did when I was in London, because I think I saw more shows while I was in London for 6-7 days than I have in the last 6 months in New York. It's one of those things, you have friends in shows and you're in a special place. And so you're going to go and you got to see everything. But when it's your own town, it's going to be around for a while. And then then it's closing notice and you hadn't seen it. It's the way, Seth, when we say, well, we live near all these museums and we don't go to them, and tourists have probably seen more museums than we have in New York. Anyway, I wanted to do a quick recap of what I did because I flew overnight on Sunday, got there on Monday, and like I said, I saw a lot of shows, and I want to go through them because I really would recommend all of them. If you have a trip coming up to London, go and see. So I went and saw The Deep Blue Sea. It has our good friend Preston Nyman as one of the stars, and it was a play. Yes, it was a play, not a musical. It was only one of two plays that I saw, but I did, and Preston was brilliant. The whole cast was brilliant. And there's Preston. You can see there on the left during the bows. Yes, that was the only time I got the phone out because that just seems like what people do these days. And so I'm like, I guess it's okay. Okay, this is what I wanted to point out to you. See this beautiful, beautiful way, like dead end? That is actually where the backstage door is. Have you ever seen a backstage door of a Broadway or West End theater that's in that stunning of an area. Not only that, it has a history because, well, now I can't read it. Let's just say I didn't prepare well enough. Oscar Wilde had a play there, and you can look it up. Deep Blue Sea. All right, scratch that. But we're moving forward as if this were live. The next night, our good friend Emma Kingston, who has been wanting to be Elphaba and Wicked for a while now, and auditioning and auditioning. That's what it takes sometimes, or most of the time. And she got it, and she got me a ticket. I have not seen Wicked in a very long time. I love the movie. I have not seen the stage show in a very long time. And she got me a ticket at the Apollo Victoria, and that's her. You can pick out which one she is there at the curtain call. And this is me and Emma backstage right after the show. I don't know if they do that in New York, but it's like the Elphaba and the Galinda stay in costume and do pictures. So I did not interview Emma. I wanted to, but it happened to be last week was the week that Stephen Aremus, the musical supervisor from New York, was coming to London. And so Emma was very busy, but I got to visit with her afterward. The next day, I went to the National. Never been to the National. Every actor's dream is to perform at the National. This is on my way to the National. There it is, National Theater. Seth and I, we didn't see Here We Are, Stephen Sondheim's last show, when it was in New York. We just weren't able to get to it. But I wanted to see it because we had so many friends in it, including an interview that you'll see in a minute with Jesse Tyler Ferguson and Jane Krakowski afterward. It was they're just fun people. They're fantastic in the show. It's a great interview, if I say so myself. The National was so generous, let us be backstage afterward in a rehearsal room. The place is mammoth. Well, I guess you can get an idea of how mammoth it is. It was incredible. And I went with David Bedella, who is going to be doing our Broadway cruise out of Southampton, a 3-time Olivier Award winner. And we did a short interview during the interval. And then afterward, and so anyway, Seth, you can talk more about the cruise and all of that, but because we have a deadline coming up. This is me and Jane and Jesse afterward, and hold on, this is my fancy program. Here we are. And so these you're going to see, I brought some gifts for Jesse and Jane. Jane was in 9 with Cheetah back in the 2000s, and Jane won her Tony Award for that show. And and Jesse, of course, loves Cheetah. And so I brought them pictures that I have that were from Cheetah's run in London because of the Spider Woman. And so I had extra copies. And so I gave one to Jane and one to Jesse. They were very sweet. The next day, I went to see The Devil Wears Prada. Or actually, that night, it was a 2-show day. I went and saw The Devil Wears Prada with Vanessa Williams. And on my way there, I walked, like, I'm going to go a different route. And I went past the Phoenix Theater, where I saw the stage door. So I went in the back. And this plaque that was dedicated to David Cassidy, donated by his fans to honor his love of the UK and to commemorate his performance in Blood Brothers at the Phoenix Theater. So just thought that was interesting. Here's Vanessa at the curtain call, looking fabulous, of course. And we had a long visit in her dressing room afterward. And then Vanessa, being the star that she is, she does fans wait at backstage. She does pictures, and that's her beautiful giant dog, and that's Murray Lane. who's been a dresser to the stars forever. And that's Murray taking the picture. It's very efficient, but she spoke and did autographs and pictures with everyone. I went and saw a show I've been wanting to see for quite a while the next night. Excuse me, just had tea, Seth. Isn't that wonderful? You get to hear the phlegm. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Now, I knew of it, but I didn't know what it was. And I really loved it. And you'll hear an interview, or you'll see an interview with me and Clare Foster, who Olivier nominated for the role. It won Best Musical at the Oliviers this year. So it was a lot of fun. That night, I saw Kevin McHale in The Frogs. It was so great. And it's a small, intimate theater at the Suffolk Playhouse. There's like 5 seats on each. And gosh, I thought, oh, I do have it. So, one of the things I love about London is, you get the paper when you go on the tube. Look, hopefully I can find it, because it just opened. The biggest picture in the paper was Kevin and the Frogs. I was so happy for him. I'm like, what to do this weekend? That was really cool. Okay, so those are my shows. It was a lot of shows. Oh, and I saw a play, Retrograde. I saw about Sidney Poitier, and we'll look it up. It's not playing for much longer, but an excellent play on the West End. Food. I can't talk about London without food, Seth, because this is one of your favorite places, Neal's Yard. This is the yummy food I had. Eggs. This is where we go for MASH, because they've got vegan and vegetarian options. Vegan fish and chips. Again, vegetarian, but look how delicious. I literally had to ask them, is this fish? Because they put like mushroom in it, so it looked like it was like the fish skin. I was freaked out because it was so like fish. And of course, one of our favorite places, Voondelicious. Voondelicious? Oh, Utterlicious. I can't read even with the glasses. This was a shocker, but I don't know why. But I got changed for the first time, and it's like not Queen Elizabeth, it's King Charles. So I had to throw that out there. Seth, you know how when we usually stay in London together, we passed the Crown and Anchor, because there's a Crown and Anchor in Provincetown. Look at this. Even though it says Crown and Anchor on the left, it's now, I can't even read it, something Tiger Tavern. They changed the name. Not that we've ever been in there, but there you go. A plug, because I'm standing in front of what? Crazy Cocks, and you're going to be there the first Sunday in October. I do not think tickets have gone on sale yet. Well, in fact, I know they haven't. But I decided to take a picture to do promos, and there we go. It is a really nice place. You've played there before, and I love it. Finally, Seth, you may see that it says a certain therapist of yours. I don't think I'm outing you because you say her name in almost every show you do. And that's Gail, spelled the same way. So I thought, oh, I'm going to take a picture. And then I did like a close-up of it, and I realized it actually looks like Gail from the back with an empty chair. Maybe you need to check with her. Maybe you need to be coming to London for therapy now.
That is so funny.
Just saying, maybe. Finally, usually when I go to London, I stay with our friends, the Nymans, and Andy Nyman is a big West End star. He starred opposite Imelda Staunton last summer in Hello, Dolly. He did Fiddler on the Roof opposite Judy Kuhn. I'm just giving his most recent credits, and I saw him at the Many a Chocolate Factory not long ago in The Producers, which is coming to the West End this fall. And I did not stay with him this time because his wife Sophie has been sick, and Sophie passed away on Monday, the day after I left London. And so we're dedicating this show to Sophie Nyman. One of the favorite things that we did together was watch The Chase, my favorite British quiz show. So I had to take a picture. I think I literally, in her honor, watched maybe about 10 or 12 while I was here. And this was taken at the end of April. Andy was making a movie in Mauritius, and that's the picture that Andy sent of Sophie. So Sophie Nyman, we love you. May you rest in peace. And this show is dedicated to you. Take it away, Seth.
Thank you, James. That was really lovely. And Miriam is right. The Nymans did New Year's Eve with us, the time that we did the 3 different New Year's Eves. We did, New York time and London time and LA time. And Sophie, if you don't know, went by her maiden name, Sophie Abbott. And you can look her up on Instagram. And her son is Preston, who James said he just saw in the West End show. And Preston's also in Mufasa, the Lin-Manuel Miranda musical. Anyway, I'm so sorry about Sophie, and boy, do we love Andy. The Gale picture is so hilarious. I cannot wait to send. Okay, I'm gonna go in order of the videos. James sent me a list of videos of what order to do them in, and then I have really fun clips that go with them. Okay, so hold on. Sorry about this. 1 second. Okay, the first one. Okay, so David Bedella is first. So David Bedella, James and David went to go see what's it called? Here We Are Together. So this is the little clip of David Bedella, who, if you don't know, I mean, I don't know if they talk about, I haven't watched, like I said, I haven't watched any of the videos. So David Bedella, we met in New York City. Yes, we dated. Why are you bringing that up? No one's bringing it up. Anyway, David was my boyfriend in the early 90s. We're no longer dating. I'm married to James. But anyway, David was like a working actor, kind of like we all are. And then he moved to London, and man, that change of venue did it all. He literally has not 1, not 2, he has 3 Olivier Awards. He won for Jerry Springer, he won for In the Heights, and he won for And Juliet. Isn't that incredible? He has 3 Olivier Awards. And he's coming, like James said, on my Broadway cruise, not the one to Alaska, the one to the Canary Islands that leaves from England with Charlotte D'Amboise and Terry Mann. That's going to be in October. But anyway, so here is my current boyfriend and my ex-boyfriend, James and David together. I have not watched this. Wait, is this the video? Oh, wait, hold on. How do I do this? Oh God. I know there's a new way to do, sorry. Kevin and James and Cedric. Sorry guys. There's a new way that I do this. So it must be in the videos. Cedric, David and James, here we go.
Hi, Seth.
Hi, Seth.
It's me and David Bedella.
And David Bedella. Hello.
It is the interval of Here We Are. We are loving it.
I think it's really good. Really good. I haven't stopped laughing.
I don't think I was telling David right when the lights came up. I don't think I've ever laughed so much at a Sondheim show before.
Yeah, it pokes fun at itself. It pokes fun at the style, and I think that the audiences are getting it. The audiences are laughing.
Yeah, the audience is really getting it, and audience is getting it, and also just a great cast.
Incredible cast. I didn't know there were people in it.
I know.
Paolo Schott, who is linked through and Juliet.
And Martha Plimpton. I didn't know it was her until like 15 minutes into it because she's wearing this red wig. Yeah. And anyway, but I was just asking David when we were walking up the stairs and finding this little spot. We're at the National Theater.
Yes. You can see the reflection of the London
oh my gosh!
In the background.
Oh my, totally.
How cool is that?
That's great. So you've performed in America.
Yes.
You've performed quite a bit here in London. Are the audiences different? Speaking of the audiences,
it's hard to say because my the way that I would compare the two is through And Juliet. I did And Juliet here, and I did it for 5 months on Broadway. The audience's response there was very different to what it was here, but we had an English audience looking at a Shakespearean play versus an American audience looking at a Shakespearean play. So it's kind of hard to compare the two. I would say America is certainly demonstrative. Here, perhaps a little bit more quiet, but certainly loving. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
That's a good, I didn't think about that before. Of course, the whole Shakespearean thing. It's like, oh yeah. Okay. So David and I had, well, you ate. I had eaten before we got together, right before the show.
Good food.
And I reminded him, Seth, that we're both vegetarians because he was going to offer me what?
Lamb.
No. But we were talking about different acts of people's lives. And I was thinking, it's like you had a career in America and then you moved to London. And really your career was almost like in two different parts. Wouldn't you say?
Very much so. Yeah. Because really I started out as a dancer in the biz. I was a dancer for 10 years in Chicago, got to New York and started doing more roles, but really still a lot of ensemble stuff. It wasn't until I got to London that I became a lead performer. And that has sort of kept up for the last 24 years. So knock wood.
With 3 Oliviers.
Now, I didn't bring them up. I'm never the one to bring them up.
See,
Yeah.
Seth and I had an argument a couple of days ago, David, because he was like, it's 2 Oliviers. And I'm like, no, it's 3.
He always thinks it's 2. You're always shortchanging me.
Jerry Springer, that you did here.
Yeah.
Which I did not realize that you did it here at the
Yeah.
National.
Yes, right in this building.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to ask Jesse and Jane coming up, and then we're going to go back inside. Is, you know, as an American actor, it's like, wow, if you're going to work in London, working at the National, it's like you're an actor. Did you have that like same idea the way I did?
Absolutely. And you know what? The National doesn't disappoint. It is truly the only place I've worked in my life where I feel every person from every job that there is backstage and on stage, every single person is there because they have a love of the art, because they have a passion for what they do. And I don't find that everywhere else. A lot of people are working for the paycheck. You just don't find that here. Yeah, it's fantastic.
All right, so Seth, we're going to go back in. Hopefully it wasn't too windy. And David, you're joining us on our cruise.
Yeah.
I have to do that plug too.
Okay, going to do the Broadway cruise in October.
Yes, so we'll see you. And so Seth, you'll see David in a few months.
I'm working on my act.
That's right. Well, the act will be whatever Rudetsky hauls out of your book.
It's
so,
true. It's true.
All right, bye, Seth.
Bye.
That's adorable. I love the London Eye in the background. And if you don't know, yes, David won his first Olivier for Jerry Springer. I have a clip of him. He played the devil, and there's like a curse off where they're basically saying the F word, and it's all it's an opera. It's sort of like "and the glow." Anyway, it's a melisma on the F word. So I'm gonna show you a little David Bedella, and then I will show you James talking to Jess Tyler Ferguson and Jane Krakowski. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. It's the F word. Isn't that fantastic? Okay, here is James at Here We Are, the Sondheim show with, even though it's, you know, by the way, Paul Ajat, David wasn't clear. Paul Ajat played, so David created that role in and Juliet and when they Olivier, then Paul Ajat played it on Broadway. Like, you know, David was like, oh, connected, he's trying to be nice. But the role that David created, Paul Ajat then played on Broadway, now Paul Ajat's in Here We Are. Anyway, so here is Jesse Tyler Ferguson and Jane Krakowski backstage at the National. Here we go.
Oh my gosh, Seth. You, I know, are so jealous that I'm here with Jesse Tyler Ferguson and Jane Krakowski.
Hi, Seth.
Hi, Seth. We miss you.
So you just introduced this segment, and now I get to talk. Okay, I've just seen Here We Are. I've never been to the National.
What?
I thought it was just no.
I don't know why. I didn't mean to shame you. I'm sorry.
That's okay. but I've also I was just telling Jesse and Jane that we did not see the production in New York. All I knew was that it was Sondheim's last show, and that was it.
Well, that's enough information to come with, to be
That's
honest.
true.
And to have what I think is a very special experience of coming to the National.
Yes.
That's what I was going to ask you, because I feel like, look, both of you are famous. Most people know you for your TV shows.
Stop.
Stop after famous. Period.
But
Oh God, I miss home.
you're theater people.
We are theater people.
You are theater people, and Seth knows this, but the viewers I know don't know this. I saw Jess. You don't know this, Jane. I saw Jesse in his very first performance in On the Town.
Not the
I saw-
first night.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
That was your very first show?
Yeah, that's
That
how I got
was
my
a nice
equity card.
company to be
I
for
know.
you.
Because I first knew Jesse for real in 2000 when I was doing this cabaret review at the Duplex.
Yeah.
And Jesse probably came like, I don't know, a couple of times because you came with Leah Delaria and you came and, but I had seen Jesse on stage and I was so excited because I'd never been to a Broadway preview before. And it was the very first performance. They had like $20 tickets in the front row.
Yeah.
And right behind me were Compton and Green. Jesse comes out and Jesse's literally
Oh, I was probably shaking like a leaf.
You were.
I also had no body fat, so that was my metabolism was working great back then. So I probably didn't have enough fat to keep me warm.
But to the point, both of you being
Yeah.
theater people, isn't it like like being at the National? Like
Oh, I mean,
Yeah, talk
this
about that.
is a dream, and also
Yeah.
we both understand how rare it is and how special it is for Americans to work here. We feel very, very lucky to be here. I have seen shows here. I have always dreamed of working at someplace, even just like the National. And here we are, you know.
Oh, nice
at
fun.
the, you know, we feel very, very, very privileged.
Yeah, I have seen a bunch of shows here. Whenever I visit London, I've seen a bunch of shows here, and I just feel like a special feeling whenever I come here. You know, I love being in the lobby. I love seeing people just come and hang out here as a
They
public
do.
space.
it's a
Or to
public
have drinks
space.
before and after the shows, and I've seen so many magnificent things here. And after I saw, this is live, right? We can't edit this. What is the one that I just saw about Sam Mendes and Elizabeth Taylor is in it? Please, someone help
Elizabeth
me.
Taylor?
No, not the Elizabeth Taylor. Oh shit, forget.
Oh,
it.
I know what
You'll
you're
edit
talking
this.
about. And I can't remember the name.
Yeah, I can't remember it.
Private Lives?
No. It's new. It's going to come to Broadway.
It's
coming.
something in the queue in the
Yeah,
Motive in the Queue. Yeah! It's like charades.
Excellent.
Motive in the Queue. Thank you. Anyway, I loved it so much, which sounds like I didn't now, but I did. And I was like, it was also Littleton, and I was like, oh my God, I want to work here so bad after watching that particular production. And then this came up, and as Jesse said, this is like a very rare moment that we are aware that, you know, having an American musical come here and that we were able to open it here at the National is a very, very special thing. It was a bucket list thing for me, so it's a real honor. And then to obviously bring the final Sondheim here as well.
It felt like so many Sondheim shows almost rolled into one.
Yeah.
Like I can feel, there's a company feeling here. There's
Yeah.
passion. Like you can hear it in the songs, but also just like the story and the ensemble, don't you think?
I mean, he was great with ensembles. I mean, all of his best works are these incredible ensembles. Into the Woods and Little Night Music and Company. I mean, they are all these communal pieces, and I think he really liked writing those types of pieces. This certainly is an ensemble. My God. And I agree with you. It feels like a classic Sondheim show in so many ways. And yet what I think we're also fascinated with, and this is what he was so brilliant at doing throughout his entire career, is really like scrapping everything he had done and trying something completely new. He's never done anything like, some sounds might sound the same, but he's never done anything like this before. It's totally experimental.
Right.
It's surrealist. It's wacky. It's just visually, it obviously looks like, it doesn't look like any of his other shows, but also he's never written characters like this. I mean, I just hope that when I'm 91 years old, if I can get that old and I get to be here long enough, if I'm lucky enough to be here long enough, that I am still pushing the envelope at that age and creating new and interesting things and testing my limits. And he certainly was.
And Jesse and I both saw it in New York, and I think we had a very similar feeling, which this is the greatest compliment. We were both jealous that we weren't in it.
Yeah.
And that is the greatest compliment to everybody who was on stage and created it from a performer being in the audience. And I thought it was visually stunning and so creative. And I thought, what a gift that they got to figure out Sondheim's final puzzle, really, in a way. And I think Joe Mantello did an incredibly skillful job doing that. And then passing it on to us. And Sam Pinkelton and David Ives. And I was very moved by it when I saw it in New York. When the piano dies in Act 2 and stops playing, I got very moved by that.
Yeah.
And then it becomes this brilliant David Ives play, and it evolves, but you can still feel Sondheim in the characters that he's created all through it. And so it's such an ensemble piece. Marianne is such a brilliant character, and I just feel like
we do follow Marianne. She is the through line. She's pinching me under the table.
here's $20. What do I get?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my first time at the National. I've been to London before. I've never been on a London stage. People say this all the time about audiences being different in the city, that city. Our audience is different here versus
I
New York?
think so, in the way that they are very, very honest here. And I mean that that it's a compliment. I mean, they will not stand unless they absolutely feel like they have to. And I just feel like in the States, we stand for everything. We do not applaud celebrities when they come on stage. I just went and saw Cate Blanchett in The Seagull. She walks on, no one's clapping, and it's Cate Blanchett.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like,
No. And I wanted to stand today, and because I really wanted
Some
to.
people do.
But there were like 3 people around me, and I'm like, I'm gonna be the American who immediately stands up.
Yeah.
But I was
And sometimes we do
intimidated.
get like standing ovations. I don't think there's always been people that are like, I'm gonna clap, but I'm not gonna stand. But we don't beg for it, and they don't give it to us easily. And I love that about it. But I mean, they always appreciate what you're doing very genuinely, and and they're also very respectful. I've never heard of something not once.
Hattie was
Winnie, no.
She's worked here many times.
Winnie.
Heard something off. That is
Yeah.
astonishing.
Winnie.
I think they're very experienced theater goers too, and knowledgeable theater goers, and that may be because theater is more accessible to everyone here. The ticket
Good
price
girl.
is a
A lot
lot
more
cheaper.
young people in the
Good girl.
audience.
I've
Because they
noticed
can
that.
afford it,
Yeah.
yeah.
But this is also a special production coming here, so we do have Sondheim aficionados coming as well, people that
Yeah.
want to see it and that know it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there'll be a certain, what I find very fun is when there's something that's so Sondheim that you can feel them react to
Yes.
it.
Yeah,
Or there'll be a
satisfying.
certain, right, yeah, you're like,
Certain
oh, they
lyric.
recognize
Yeah.
that, and that's kind of fun. Yes, exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap up, Seth, because this is in between shows, but I have 2 questions. One, I know that you saw the Starlight Express here.
I did.
What did you think?
Oh, it was such a nostalgic, beautiful trip for me to go to Wembley and watch it. I actually also brought my child with me because that was my Broadway debut, and we went to
I
the
know.
reopening of it here, and I thought they did an unbelievable job reinventing it for today's
Really
audience.
I had never seen it before,
Yeah.
and we're friends with Ashley, the choreographer, Nottingham.
Yeah.
And he said, I said, I'm going to see
Yes, I
Jake
met them
today.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so honored to be in that audience that night and to see Dame Arlene Phillips again, and it just was really special for me. I really was hoping he was just going to give me credit with my child because he's a great skateboarder, and I was like, I used to do all those tricks.
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
it was pretty cool, Mom.
Yeah.
Yes.
For a teenager, that's a big reaction.
That's really and Jesse, we don't have to talk about the Kennedy Center and what's happened this year, but in October, Seth and I went and saw Smelling Bee at the Kennedy Center. I'm going to see Kevin do Frogs, going back to the beginning.
I'm seeing him as well.
You are?
They have a Tuesday matinee. I'm going to go see.
I'm going to see it, I think, Saturday night.
Yeah.
But what's it like? So
I went and saw it. I got to go see Spelling Bee at the Kennedy
I was going to
Center.
ask you. So what
It
is
was
it like?
so special. I mean, I've seen several productions. I'll go into schools do it. I always get very, very moved by it. Because we created those characters from the ground up. So when I see, children reinventing Leaf Coney Bear or, Noah Galvin recreating Leaf Coney Bear, it's just very moving. And I thought they did an incredible job, and it was fun to see, new audiences experiencing it. It's so special. I mean, that we're both part of so many shows that are you've done quite a few original Broadway musicals, and the fact that when they get done again and again,
sweet.
it's so cool that you're part of the DNA of that show and it lives on forever.
I thought of you watching it. It was like, what is it like to go and see?
Yeah, and also they made me be a guest speller. They made me be a guest speller on the show, which I didn't really want to do. And I was like,
Everybody wants that.
please get me out early. Please get me out early.
Oh.
I will do it, but you have to get me out early. So they gave me a very difficult word, and I'm already a pretty bad speller, so I do get out early.
Well, it was great. And I'm going to see frogs this week. Here we are. If you're coming to London, try to get a ticket. Bye, Seth.
Bye,
Eat your heart
Seth.
out.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Okay. Tonight on my microphone was on. You heard Winnie barking, and I was like, Winnie, good girl. David Katz, thank you for the text. That was such a lovely interview. God, I love the two of them so much. And Jane's amazing pushing of Jesse. I have a very fun Jane clip I want to show you. I didn't see Jesse's first performance, but I saw, not even that I saw Jane's first performance, but I saw Jane very early on in Grand Hotel, and I literally remember walking down the street. God, she was walking towards me. I guess she was so young. She was 21. And I think I just went, you're amazing. I was obsessed with her. This is this dance she does. And what I love is the very end, she pushes them away and turns. Boom. Oh my God, it's so amazing. Here she is in Grand Hotel. And then we'll go to the next interview. Watch this.
Assumption. Has anyone ever told you you ought to be in pictures?
Funny you should say that. I keep telling myself that all the time.
Oh my God, isn't it brilliant? I can watch it over and over again. Oh my God, I love it so much. Okay, I got to go back to James's list. Hold on, the list. Oh, the wonderful Cedric Neal. So I'm assuming James is going to cover what's incredible about Cedric, their connection. So I'm just going to show it. This is the wonderful Cedric Neal. Please enjoy. Like I said, I'm pretty sure James is going to cover it. Right now, Cedric is in Hadestown. And I'm going to mute myself so you don't hear Winnie barking. Okay, bye.
Hey, Seth.
Hey.
Look who I'm with. I'm with the fellow Texan, Cedric Neal.
Hello.
And we are backstage at
Hadestown.
Hadestown. Cedric, when we saw Hadestown, because we love Lilias White so much, we saw her in her first night. To be in that audience,
I bet it was electric.
it was electric. And that's the role you're playing,
I am playing her.
originated by Andre de Shields.
My idol, my now theater father. He's adopted me as his son, Andre de Shields. Yes.
Tell Seth and everyone watching what you told me about, like, because Andre opened the show here in London, right?
No.
No, he didn't. Tell me.
They brought the original 5 principals back over to do a pro shot.
Okay.
Of the show.
Okay.
So they were here for a month.
Okay.
So Andre's last show as Hermes was March 9th, and my first show was March 11th.
Wow.
So they had an interview with us, the two of us, the week before my first show. And one of the questions was, Andre, what's the best advice that you could give Cedric? And he says, well, I don't especially believe in giving advice.
Yes. Great invitation.
But he said, Cedric, I want you to know that absolutely no one can do what you do. You're special, you're anointed, and nobody can do what you do. And then he went on to say, I'm often asked, when will I retire? This role, when will I retire? And I said, when someone comes along that can fill Hermes' shoes properly. And here comes Cedric. So I give it to Cedric because he can fill these shoes properly. To hear that from my idol, and I was a bag of tears. It was a very ugly cry in the interview. But he's the reason why I do this and why I want to do it to the level of perfection, like him and Charlene Woodard and Nell Carter, rest in peace. Ken Page, rest in peace. Armelia McQueen, rest in peace. The 5 original cast members from Misbehaving. An 8-year-old me saw a VHS of those 5 black stars, 5 black triple threats. And Andre's Viper's Drag. I still try to live up to that level of storytelling in everything that I do. So yeah, it's pretty special.
And then you not only meet him, but it's just like it is like a dream
It is.
come true.
And it was divine. It was spiritual. My high school musical theater teacher is one of his best friends. So yes, Nedra James at Booker T. Washington High School. For the shout out to Nedra James. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So whenever he would come to Dallas,
I'd say from Dallas, Texas.
yes,
That doesn't happen.
yeah. Whenever he would come to Dallas, Nedra would be like, they have this bus stop. That's their term that they say to each other. And she's like, Cedric, Andre's here. So I met him several times, and he knows what he means to me. But that was the first time that I've ever been in the same professional space with him, and to get to watch his grandness, knowing that 2 days later that I will be trying to, I'm not ashamed to say, replicate that.
Yeah.
It was a spiritual high for a long time, James.
Yeah.
I'm still living on that spiritual high. There's a certain line in Living It Up, Way Down Hadestown, where he says, as the interest of Hades comes up, the line is, on the road to hell, there was a railroad car, and the car door opened and a man stepped out. This is how Andre says it. On the road to hell, there was a railroad car, and the car door opened and a man stepped out.
Yes, I love it.
I do that every.
Do you do that?
Every show. Yes, I'm known for improvising different melodic lines in every show, but every show I do that.
That one
And
you do.
Yes,
Desmonda, who plays Rudetsky, she looks up over my shoulder.
Well, I just realized I should say, like, because Seth knows, but most people don't know. It's like we met each other, can you believe it, 20 years ago
Yeah.
in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
Are you originally from Dallas? Are you born in Dallas?
Oak Cliff.
I was born in Oak Cliff.
Hope and Camp Wisdom.
Wow. Okay. So let me ask you, because when you said about knowing, when did you first meet Andre?
1993.
Okay. So, but you have this connection with high school, because I tell this to Seth, I'm going to back up, because I tell Seth this all the time. He grew up on Long Island, but he was in the city a lot, and he knew like the cast members of Annie and all the shows. And so for him, it was very visceral and it was real. Me, growing up, I did not go to a school where anyone knew anyone Broadway. To me, it just felt like a far off dream. Do you think it helped make it more like, oh, this can happen for me? Or
Yes. Definitely going to the Booker T. Washington High School for the Performing and Visual Arts in Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
Exposed me to a level of what's available, what can be.
Yeah.
I come from a school. Some of the alumnus of my school are Erykah Badu, Edie Brickell, most of God's Property, most of Jasmine Horn, Britton, what's Britton's last name? Britton Smith. So I can't.
So you had already knew that there had been people who had been in that school.
Yeah,
So you're right. I didn't think of that.
And there were stars, celebrity status people who would come and visit our schools and do master classes.
Wow.
And so we were exposed to that on a level that not very many people are.
No.
So
like I didn't have that. Like I wanted to go to the high, because when I was in high school, I was living in Houston, and I wanted to go to the high school for the performing arts in Houston, but I lived in Montgomery County, the county north, and I couldn't do it. And I've become friends with Chandra Wilson, and Chandra went to the high school for the performing arts. And I told Chandra, I was like, if I had gotten into the high school of my dreams, we would have been friends, because we were like in the same class.
6 degrees of separation. Is that the term?
Yes. Yes.
When Liz Michael, who's off
Yeah.
Yes. When we moved to New York, we stayed in Chandra's condo.
What?
119th and Madison, 119th and
I could be true.
Yeah. We stayed in her condo.
When was this? Before Grey's Anatomy?
No, this was right after Grey's Anatomy. This was 2011, 2012.
Oh wow.
Yeah, small world.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so I said to Cedric before, I said, okay, I don't really know the story of how you got here. And I said, let's save it for the interview.
Okay.
So the last I saw you, I moved back to New York in 2006, which may have been the last time I saw you until like I was walking around the streets of London and then like there's Cedric. And then I asked, our mutual friends in Dallas, and they're like, oh yeah, Cedric's like in London and doing great.
So back in 2013, we're going to rewind. I was doing, I was on Broadway. Shout out to Warren Carlisle. I was doing the jazz musical After Midnight.
Okay. Oh, great.
So while I was in After Midnight, my then agent at the time, shout out to the Mine, said that they were looking for a sporting life in the Gershwin's Porgy and Bess over here at Regis Park Open Air Theater.
Oh.
So I sent in my tapes December of 2013.
Okay.
Fast forward to March of 2014. Okay, December I sent in my tapes. September of 2013, my then fiance, now husband, had applied for a job promotion on his job, and they're headquartered here.
Oh,
So that was September 2013.
wow.
And then December 2013, I sent in my tapes. Fast forward to March 2014, you're on the short list, stronghold, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. So mid-March, I said to my agent at the time, Dustin, I said, I need to know if I can let this go because it's messing with me.
Right,
I need to
of
know if I
course.
can let this go. So he called over here. I don't remember the exact date, but it was a Wednesday. My husband was away on a case. Got the call on the Wednesday, and he said, "How would you like to go perform?" And you booked Sporting Life in London. So my husband, I hadn't even told my husband. He comes back the next day, and he says, "How would you like to move to London?"
What?
I said, What? He said,
No.
I got the promotion, Cedric. I was like, whoa!
What, you both found out like within 24
Within
hours?
24 hours of each other. Yeah. So
You were meant to be there.
Yeah. So I came over in September of in June of 2014 to do Porgy and Bess with Rufus Bonds, who was Porgy, and Philip Boykin, who was Crown. And I now know the star power that was in that show. Sharon D. Clark, 4-time Olivier winner.
She was in it?
She was Mariah. Golda Reshevel, who plays Queen Charlotte in Bridgerton and Charlotte, was in it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
wow. And that was your first.
That was my first show over here. So that ended September. We flew back to New York, got married September 1st, and then moved back over here October of 2014. And now I'm on my 7th West End show. So that's how that happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your last show, because we saw you in Back to the Future here. Is this have you done a show I don't even know. Have you done a show between Hadestown and Back to the Future?
Yes, I've done several shows.
What? Okay. Name them.
After I left Back to the Future.
Because you were with Back to the Future for a very long time.
Yeah.
The development and all that, right?
Yeah.
And COVID.
And COVID.
We have to throw COVID in there.
So after I did Back to the Future, I did a show called 42nd Street in Paris.
I've heard of it.
And my last week of 42nd Street in Paris was my first week of rehearsals for Guys and Dolls at the British Theater.
That's the immersive one that everyone was talking about, right?
Yeah, that
Wow.
Rudetsky Wallace was Adelaide, and I was Nicely Johnson's.
Nice.
We both got Olivier nominations.
Yeah.
With Daniel Mays, who played Nathan Detroit, and my best friend Mark Oxby, who was Benny South Street. So I did Guys and Dolls. And then after Guys and Dolls, did the 50th anniversary concert of Pippin. And then this past winter, I did the first fully staged production of Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812. That was not the Actor Muso piece. It was Tim Sheeter's Vision and Ellen Kay's Vision. That was nominated for an Olivier, as long as our 3 leading players. Mamoun Menon winning for Sonia. And then went after Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet, came into Hadestown. So
You don't mess around.
Yeah, there was a period in 2024 where I didn't work for like 5 months and I lost my mind. Literally lost my
So
mind.
I'm guessing you're not going to be going back to Texas anytime soon.
Not if I don't have to.
Yeah.
My husband and I are in the middle of getting our indefinite leave to remain visa. And once we have that for a year, we'll apply for permanent citizenship. The UK has been very, very good to me. And has made me feel like the leading man that I always knew that I was. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy for you,
Thank you.
Cedric. All right, Seth, let's end it on that. I'm so glad that you let me come backstage to visit. And bye, Seth.
That was so great. I wish I got clarity. I'm almost positive James and Cedric actually did a show together in Texas. That's how they know. I don't think it's just through theater folk. I think they actually either did Wild Party together, because James was Burrs, or Ragtime. Those are the two shows, or Children of Eden. James' mother's younger brother. But anyway, we saw Cedric in Back to the Future. That's when I first saw him. He's amazing. I found this incredible clip of him. He was in that immersive Guys and Dolls, and here he is sounding phenomenal. Listen to this. This is Cedric Neal, currently in Hadestown. You have to go see him in London. Oh my God, that voice. Here we go.
And as I left at those passengers to heaven, a great big wave came and washed me over. And as I sank and I hollered, someone save me. That's the moment I woke up. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. And I said to myself, sit down. Sit down. Said to myself, sit down. Sit down, you're rocking the boat. And the devil will drag you under. It was so heavy, never float. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, you're rocking the boat. Sit down, rock, sit down, sit down, sit down, rock the boat. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, you're rocking the boat. Sit down.
Oh my God, isn't that great? The fluidity. Okay, again, let me make sure I'm going in the right order. This is Stars in the House from Seth Rudetsky. We're going to be back. When is it? We're going to be back on Monday. Okay, amazing. Cedric, and then am I missing one? No. Okay, this is the right order then. The amazing Vanessa Williams. Let's check her out. Vanessa right now is starring in. Let me make sure I know what it is. She's starring in The Devil Wears Prada. Just to make sure I know what it is, but that says button. That's the wrong. Okay, well, hold on. Let me make sure I have this. James and Claire. For some reason, I don't have the Vanessa one. David Katz, if you're watching, just tell me why I don't have the Vanessa one. Did I do something wrong? So I'm going to skip, and I'm going to go right to Kevin McHale, who is fabulous right now, starring in The Frogs, the Sondheim show. Okay, hit it.
Hi, Seth.
Hey, Seth.
It's me, James, with Kevin McHale.
Without you.
Without you, here in London.
Yeah.
Kevin, tell everyone what you're doing in London.
I'm doing a lesser-known Sondheim musical at the Southwark Playhouse called The Frogs, and that's why I'm here.
Okay, so I said the name wrong when I saw Vanessa the other day,
Oh,
and
yes.
and what how do like most Americans say the name of where you're at?
It's spelled Southwark,
Yeah.
basically, Playhouse. And it took me a minute to understand that it's not how you say it. It's pronounced Southwark.
So it's set not South,
South.
and then not work.
The
Southwark.
Yeah.
Southwark. And I knew it, and yet I got Vanessa's co-star was in the in the room. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm busted. I just said it wrong.
I luckily had never said Southwark out loud before, and I heard somebody say it, and I was like, oh, so I know Southwark is not correct. I just didn't exactly know how to pronounce it. So I just didn't say it for the longest
That's
time.
smart. That's
Yeah.
smart because it never came out of your mouth
No,
the wrong way.
Until now.
Until now. Oh no! I cursed
An
you.
exclusive.
Okay, so you're here doing Frogs. Now, I saw Here We Are, like
Yes.
the last Sondheim work. When was Frogs written?
I believe they first did it at Yale in 1971.
So, you know what? I was mistaken because when I saw Jane and Jesse, I, for some reason, now I feel like a fool. I thought it was like his earliest thing he did, but it wasn't. He was like well established when he did it.
And it was right in between all these behemoths, like Follies and all these, and then he did this. I think it was more of like a release for him. You know, it's like a quirky, weird sort of exploration, and he did it in a pool. He apparently did not enjoy the production experience of doing it at Yale in a pool, which makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
But then Nathan Lane rewrote and expanded it in the early 2000s for Broadway.
For Broadway. But that was, but it wasn't written for Broadway.
No, and originally it was a one act.
Okay.
Done in a pool.
Are you doing it in a pool?
No, and it's no longer a one act. And then Nathan Lane got his hands onto it and expanded it, and they sometimes wrote more music for it to be a full-fledged production.
Okay. I'm seeing that, so I'm seeing it tomorrow night. So by the time you're seeing this, Seth, I will have seen it and reported back. But we first saw you, Seth and I did, in Spelling Bee on stage.
Yes.
In Spelling Bee in October. And Seth, Kevin and I just had breakfast together, and I said, there's no way that it's true that was your first time on stage doing a musical, or both. Tell me.
On stage in this capacity. Yeah. I've done concerts.
Right.
But like I've never done
like a full-on character.
Yeah.
You had never, like in high school, you didn't do one?
No.
What were you doing in high school?
I was in a boy band.
So
like I'd go to high school during the day, and at night I was going to like recording studio, and I was like at Interscope parties.
I forgot you had that part of your life.
Yeah.
But did you ever when did you say, oh, I want to do theater? Or have you yet said that?
In August.
Really? You had but you have so many friends that have done like Broadway shows.
Yeah.
And you hadn't really.
I revere it, and I think because I have so many friends who have done it for so long that I understand the love you have to have for it, the care, the passion, how much work it takes,
the energy
do it, and the energy to do it. It's not glamorous. It's not TV money.
Right.
You know, it's none of those things. And so I think for me, it was, everyone said, like from Leah to Jenna to Darren, Amber, everybody who's done it, they're like, you would love doing it. And to me, I think I've just been fearful of it because for two reasons. One, because I respect it. I'm like, I don't want to step into, this profession that people dedicate their lives to and have.
Like being an imposter. Like, do you feel a little imposter syndrome if you were going to step into it?
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's just like, I did a season of Celebrity Drag Race.
Okay.
And I said no to that originally because of the same thing, where I'm like, I respect the art of what everybody's doing so much that like I don't want to come in like, who am I to step into this space?
Right.
But Spelling Bee was the first time, and I think because of the character, I was like, oh, I see how I could do this, or like how I can see myself doing this.
Yeah.
And I feel like I love that show. I understand that show. I think comedy is an easier way for me to get into it.
Yeah.
For me, like in my brain, in my body. And so doing Spelling Bee, something just clicked for me, and I was like, oh, I do love this. And it was not even necessarily, obviously I love the performing and making people laugh.
Yeah.
But the community of it and understanding like the small miracle that it is that a show happens every single night it's nothing short of a miracle.
Right.
That all comes together. And so I agreed to do this show before Spelling Bee was even
really
a thing. Yeah.
I figured this was a natural, Kevin loves doing it and had a great experience, and now he's going to do Frogs.
No,
really?
Theater had been sort of like bubbling under the surface for a little bit trying to find the right opportunity.
Yeah.
And one of my friends who's a great producer, Eric, he produces in New York and in London. He put me in touch with Georgie Rancombe, who's the director of the Frogs here.
Okay.
And we just had a Zoom, I think, last March or
Oh
April.
my gosh.
And I just loved her. She's done another song, like earlier Sondheim before.
Okay.
And loves Sondheim, loves Here We Are.
Uh-huh.
Like really understands Sondheim,
Yeah.
I think. And it's like, yeah, this sounds great. Put me into this. If you're willing to have me, this like sort of quirky, weird, queer production of Frogs. Like, yeah.
So when you were done with Spelling Bee, as Seth and I have said many times, you were brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Your whole cast was so great. We love that production.
A joy to get to watch all of them do that.
Oh my God, so great. But did it make you, when you were done with that, did it make you more excited to do Frogs? Were you actually maybe a little bit intimidated of like, oh my God, that was so well received and like there's something to live up to? Did it change?
I think all of that. It was the big thing for me going into Spelling Bee was obviously because I hadn't never done this before,
Right.
was how the process works. When you don't know how it's going to work, all of that unknown like builds a lot of fear.
Right.
And so having been through the process once, which is
I'm veteran by now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you know me now that I've done the theater.
Was it easier?
Yes, because the expectation of, going into it, I knew what to expect. Obviously here it's a different thing.
I was going to say,
it's
the
a different
rehearsal
vibe.
process, the audience is
Yes.
everything.
We had more than 2 weeks to rehearse here, which was nice.
Okay.
And getting, I came into that situation, like knowing we have a lot of mutual friends with
Yeah, I
Noah,
was
with
gonna say,
Beanie. There's
right.
that sort of familiarity a bit. Here, I knew nobody going into it. I'm here on my own. But everybody's so kind. It's also very laid back here. I've done TV here before, and it's the same thing.
TV too?
Yeah, much more laid back than it is in the
Wow.
US. And so that experience is just really, really enjoyable, which is also another reason why I jumped at the chance to do this, because I've had such wonderful working experiences here before that I was like, well, if that's anything to tell by, then hopefully this will be that. And this is even better. It's been great. Everyone's so nice.
I can't wait to see you and see it. So last question, natural question would be, okay, so now in less than a year, you've doubled the number of productions you've done in your lifetime.
Right.
Do you see that continuing, without going into any details in case you have something coming up, but do you envision yourself doing more of it?
I would say that Spelling Bee, gave me the bug a little bit, and doing the Frogs, I'm fully just, I don't know when it happened or at what point in this process, but I'm fully in. I love it. I'm having such, genuinely, I'm not just saying that to like promote the show, but I'm having such a great time doing it. And it's like, you spend more time off stage with these people than you do on stage.
Yeah.
And I love all of that. I love the routine of it. I love hanging out. We have one communal dressing room. Like, I love all of that.
Yeah.
And so, yes, if there's more opportunity to do theater, I would jump at the chance.
Yay.
Yeah.
All right. So tell everyone, for people that are watching who may be in London fairly soon, how long is the run?
Through the month of June. So last show is June 28th. So if you're in London, it's not West End, so it's cheaper. It's more affordable.
It is.
Come see it at the Southwark Playhouse Borough. There's like different theaters. It's the Borough one.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a good time. It's fun. Like, bring your friends. You'll laugh. It's thought provoking. It's a bit of everything. You'll see.
I will.
You'll see.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, Seth.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Miriam asked, who is Kevin playing? He's playing the part that Roger Bart played in the Frogs. And I was also like James. I always get Frogs and Saturday Night mixed up, because Saturday Night, I always think about, because Stephen Sondheim was smart, he went to Yale. I assume anyway, the point is Saturday Night was Sondheim's first show that he wrote. Frogs was later. I totally get it mixed up too. Yes, Mark Rubin, Kevin reminds me of Harry Connick. Totally. Okay, I'm going to show Vanessa a clip after this. I'm going to now show the final interview with Clare. Let me make sure I have this right. I think her name is Clare Foster. And then when he's shedding so much, I have Winnie firm. I think it's called The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. So it won the Olivier for Best Musical. And I have a clip of it. You know, the little bit that I know about it, I don't want to know too much, but it's obviously based on the movie where he ages backwards, right? The character ages backwards. So I'm going to show you a little clip from it, and then James' interview with Clare backstage. I think this is it. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Clare is the female in this.
I wish we had more time, but we're shipping out tomorrow.
Well then, I guess we better make the most of tonight.
Time can heal and time can fly, and time can even pass us by. Sometimes we have time to kill, but in this moment time stands still. Well, I'm shipping out tomorrow. I'm heading out on my way tomorrow. Shipping out tomorrow before the morning light. We better make the most. Better make the most. We better make the most of tonight.
That's musical. So here is the interview that James got to do backstage with Clare. Okay, there's Clare. And Clare, by the way, I don't know if she mentions this in the interview, but she's married to a West End star I love so much, Damian Humbly. Oh my God, he's so talented. I first saw him in Merrily Roll Along, and then I saw him in Forbidden Broadway, and I got to interview him. He was so talented. And James said, thanks for upstaging. Annoying. James said Claire's amazing. Winnie, I'm going to have to mute this. Okay, here we go. Shadoop.
Hi, Seth.
Hi, Seth. How are you?
It's James and Clare Foster.
Hi. How are you? It's been a long time. We met a very long time ago, very briefly, when you fell in love with my husband, Damian Humbly, who you saw in Merrily and loved. And I also loved. So that worked out well. It's a full circle moment.
He played opposite Jenna Russell.
Yeah, he was Charlie.
See, there you go,
Yeah.
Seth.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until a few minutes ago. I just saw last night The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. It won the Olivier,
He did.
as it should have,
Aw.
for Best New Musical. I want to see it again. Please tell me, and you were Olivier nominated
I was, yeah.
for leading actress. Please tell me it's running in October when we're here again.
I don't know the answer to that. We
Okay.
hope to be.
Okay, that's good.
I think that, the plan is that would be something that continues. We are, that will be sort of towards the end of the year contract for the company.
Okay.
So
I see.
So it might be slightly changed. Hopefully we'll still be going. Fingers crossed.
It's
It's
a-
a good one, so hope it is.
It's such a great show. I told Claire I was a little bit embarrassed. I said, I've heard of the title, but I have not read the story, nor did I see the movie. So I went in to the show last night really with no expectations. I had
I
maybe
love
seen
that so much. It's so rare, right? Because you normally go and see everything. Like, I kind of know the film, or
Yeah.
It's brilliant that you sort of went in completely anew. It's gorgeous.
You know what I've started doing? I've started like really not reading reviews and trying to read as little about the show as possible. You know,
Yeah.
just because I feel like you go in there with just, I don't know, open expectations. I wouldn't
Yeah.
even say low, high, whatever, just like open expectations. And I don't know, how do you describe the show when people ask you what it is? For those out there who are watching who don't know.
We don't know. So, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button is based on F. Scott Fitzgerald's short story about a man who is born old and ages backwards. That's sort of the premise of the story. And actually, it's the only thing from the short story and the film that is the same. Our show is set in Cornwall, predominantly in Cornwall. And most importantly, it's an actor-musician show, which means that everyone on stage is also the band. So everything that you are hearing musically is being played by the actors, as well as the narration and stepping into the roles of the storytellers.
But it all works. It's like there are some shows that I've seen on Broadway where the instruments are played by the actors. This is just obviously my opinion, and it looks like, oh, they're saving money. Here it really seems like it's like a pub sort of atmosphere. Like, while
it's
of
sort
course,
of like Celtic folky music.
Yeah, natural.
Yeah. Well, I think Jethro Compton always wanted, he's our brilliant writer, director, set designer, and co-lyricist.
Wait a minute.
One-man band, yeah, exceptional.
All of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Seth would say, is he Jewish overachiever? That's like his jokes. Seth, that's not right what you would say.
He is a huge overachiever. He's utterly spectacular. And his dream, I think, was always always written with an actor-musician show in mind. So maybe that's sort of what it is. Sometimes I think maybe the format is pushed onto a show rather than it being sort of organically written as such. And Darren Clark, our amazing composer, is from a very sort of folky Celtic. Even his voice is sort of got like sort of smoky when he's like playing stuff and writing stuff. It very much comes from that place. So it was just a brilliant collaboration of those two humans. Very cool.
I mean, what struck me about the story, and I want to hear what feedback you've heard from people who have seen the show, is its universality.
Yeah.
And the definition of what is time.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost brings me to tears.
Yeah, it really like it takes your breath away, the show, in a way that I just don't think people expect or often experience in a show. I think, with plays and musicals, we often kind of drop into like a moment in time of high drama or a little section of someone's life. And I think by going through, following this man's journey from birth to death, it's similar to Merrily, actually. I have very similar conversations.
I was thinking that, yeah.
Because of the sort of going backwards thing, it makes you reflect on things in a really different way, and the passing of time and the shame that you carry and the things that you overcome and the life lessons that you sort of have and the relationships that you gain and lose within that time frame. And I think it brings up a lot of real life stuff in a really, not in a sweeping way, but it gives just enough weight to it for you to drop into, and then it takes you somewhere else.
Yes.
And I think they've just pitched it as writers so brilliantly. It makes our job actually very easy, I think.
I think for me and Seth, we have people in our lives, their parents who have dementia and are at that stage in their life. And because, as you've said, the age process is reversed.
Yeah.
And I thought of that. Have you thought of that as far as
it's sort of
because
it
toward the
comes out,
end,
right?
he starts to lose his memories, but his being and his spirit is still there.
Yeah.
It was really beautifully done.
Yeah, it does have lots of parallels, and also sort of caring for parents, as she gets older and he gets younger, sort of that balance and how that sort of shifts. But yeah, sort of the sadness, I guess, that can be associated with losing current memories, but having memories of childhood and the long-term memories that sort of stay with you. And those sort of emotional connections with the people that dropped into your life that meant the most.
It's quite beautiful.
Yeah.
It really
it's
is.
Pretty great.
What have you been with it from the beginning? Like, what's been the process?
Just for West End.
West End.
So John and I, who you didn't see last night.
I did not. Your understudy was he was amazing.
Yeah, he's great.
He was great.
Honestly, this cast continue to astound me because not only do they play like multiple instruments, like most of them play like 6 well, not like just parts of
You were at the piano, right?
I was at the piano and the tambourine.
Well, that I saw.
Yeah. Yes, I was at the piano, but I learned that for the show. Like, I'm not an actor musician.
You learned piano for the show?
Yeah, but only like this show. I can't really play anything else.
Okay.
But yeah, that was something that sort of came up after casting. That they were like, "You play the piano, right?" And I was like, "No."
Oh, you were an honest actor. You didn't say absolutely. I've been playing
I
for
got
years.
the job by then.
Okay.
No, I did play as a kid, but yeah, it was like a whole new thing again.
Yeah.
But what's amazing about this company is like their musicianship is astounding, but as actors, they then like whenever, because the cover system is quite complicated, because obviously if someone goes off or on holiday or sickness, we're not only covering the musical parts, but we're also covering the narration.
Think of that.
And so it's a very convoluted sort of cover system, and often you know, if we lose brass, which we didn't have last night because Annie was off, then that gets covered with a violin. And so every show is...
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a slightly different sound. So when you come back, like each time, you'll have a slightly different arrangement. And Matt Burns, who you saw do Benjamin last night, is our sort of in-house MD as well. So he deals with the cut shows and the sort of musical instruments. And Philippa Hogg, they are the only two very original cast members who were with it when it was a 5-piece cast. So it started with, they had like puppets for Benjamin and stuff like that, like way back when it first started, 5 musicians, active musicians. And then at Southwark in, I want to say 23, maybe it's 24. The majority of this cast were with that production, and John, myself, and Elliot McKenzie and Katie Ellis, who are 2 Swings, came with this production as well. And since then, we've got another 2 Swings who are also utterly astonishing.
That's incredible. Okay, so I looked. I did not bring my glasses last night, so I just got the program. I was like, okay, who's this? But I just saw, and if Seth were here, I know he would ask. He would see that you did Chicago and the national tour, and he'd be like, "You're a dancer."
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was way back.
Because there's no dance. I mean, there's movement.
Yeah.
And this is a show. I can play piano probably as well as you, but I can't play any other instruments, and I don't even know if I could do the tambourine.
I think you could. I think anyone would.
You don't know me well enough.
It was in rehearsals where people, there was kind of like a slight like, oh, I've got the tambourine for like proper musicians, and I was like, guys, it's one of my main instruments.
But did you start off as a dancer?
Yeah. That's predominantly what I trained in. I didn't even really train as a singer, which I...
You sound amazing.
Well, that's very kind. Thank you.
It's true.
Very much sort of actor who sings energy for me. But yeah, started as a... That's how I got into it. Saturday Night Fever was my first ever job, which was a big dance show. And
did you tour in Chicago? Like,
yeah, I did the first UK tour. I just swing.
You were...
It's the only time I swung. Yeah, never again. It's not for me. It's a really hard job. Wow. I mean, everyone knows this, but it's so hard. Like, you have to be confident. Yeah. That's the thing I think people don't talk about as a swing. Like, to have the confidence to go on not really knowing what you're doing. It's a really specific personality, and I'm like a panicker. So it was not a fun job. Like, I'm not touring again, and I'm not. But they were my 2 no-nos.
Okay, so we're gonna hope that you're still running in October, because if you're gonna be in London, you have to go see the show.
Please do.
So this is something I realized right now that I had forgot to ask you ahead of time. So this is gonna be not
what are we doing? Okay.
So there's a dialogue scene in the middle of the show, Seth, that really got to me, and it had to do, without me saying what the number is, there's a part of the dialogue between, it's really it's the scene where it's your first real one-on-one talk with Benjamin, and you're talking about age, and you're talking about in the 20s and the 30s and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, because I would, if you don't mind, can we reenact that? Because I know what my line is.
Oh God, okay.
Because there's a reason why. Because
I see. You're out of context, so I'm probably going to forget my lines.
That's
I'm
okay.
going to do my best.
That's right. Well, what's
so,
what's the cue that I give you?
Your line is, shouldn't you be spending time with someone your own age?
Okay. All right. So here we go.
You're going to do the Cornish accent.
Let's just say I did not get Mamma Mia. I'm sure, because I couldn't do an Australian accent.
Okay.
Okay, what's the line again? Because now you through.
Shouldn't you be spending time with someone your own age?
Shouldn't you be spending time with someone your own age?
Have you ever met a man my age? Men in their 20s are so overconfident. In their 30s, they're all knackered from overwork. In their 40s, they're all worried about turning 50. In their 60s, they're pretty much 70. But men in their 50s, wow, they're not rushing forward. They're not looking back. They're just... What are you?
55.
55? Well, you know what I reckon? I reckon 55 is the perfect age.
Can you believe that? And on that note, go see The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Bye, Seth. Bye, everyone.
Wow. Oh my God, James, if you can't tell, is 55. Oh my God. I cannot believe she began Saturday Night Fever because Chicago is a dance show, but it's a lot of style. Whereas Saturday Night Fever, that's like a cardio effing workout. Oh my God. She must have, whoo boy, Claire must be amazing. That's so amazing. I mean, amazing. What else I want to say? I'll show you one clip before I go. Oh, hey, don't forget, Sunday are the Tonys. I'm hosting a Tony watch party. You can live stream it if you want. So if you can't be there in person, I think we're sold out. But the live stream is not sold out. You just go to my website or look up Seth Rudetsky Tony watch party, and you can watch it with me and come on our cruise with David Bedella to the Canary Islands that leaves from London, also Charlotte Bois and Terrence Mann. So I will close because I just realized that the Vanessa clip is coming later. I want to show Vanessa right now is starring in Devil Wears Prada. So I'll close with the Vanessa clip. If you don't know, I met Vanessa. I was her rehearsal pianist when she joined Kiss the Spider Woman. We were at what's called New Dance Group on 47th Street, and we rehearsed all day. I can't remember who was putting her in, but it was her and Darius DeHaas learning it at the same time. And now Vanessa has originated this amazing role. James said she's phenomenal in The Devil Wears Prada. So exciting. So this is Vanessa when she was in Kiss the Spider Woman. And if you don't know, she took over for Chita Rivera, and the review, I can't even tell how amazing the reviews were. It was like, Broadway's hotter than ever. Like the theater must be on fire. She got incredible reviews for Spider Woman, and now, of course, she's being phenomenal in The Devil Wears Prada. Here she is. Watch her dance up a storm, and then I'll say goodbye. Here we go.
And I can promise you, you will find, you will like my plan. My sweetest fan, my leading man.
Yas, Queen. And I saw Isabel mention, yes, I'm going to be at Crazy Cox before my cruise that goes to the Canary Islands. That's Sunday. It's like October 7th. I just decided to perform there. So I'll be at Crazy Cox in London before we go to the Canary Islands. Wasn't Vanessa phenomenal in that? Oh, the crazy story she told me, because she was talking about how incredible, Cheetah was in her 60s when she did it. Vanessa was like in her 30s. And yet Cheetah said the stamina you needed for that. And at the end, anywhere you are. She was so freaked out opening night because she was so winded that she literally went up the octave. She went, anywhere you are. She just went up the octave because I don't know why that was easier for her. She like couldn't breathe. Anyway, I wish I had a recording. I wasn't there on her opening night, but okay. Thank you, London Town. Thank you. All those phenomenal shows. Everyone, when you're in London Town, go see those shows. And we'll be back with Stars in the House. When did I say it was going to be? Monday. Thank you, James. And thank you, everyone, for joining him. I'm going to show you now the final clip and credits. Hit it. Good girl. Little boy. Okay. Bye.